Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, greetings from New York. Selamat pagi. All courtesies observed. You're meeting in Manado at a time when humanity is on the doorstep of its biggest environmental challenge since the Ice Age. Climate change and ocean change are underway, and for archipelagic states that has many vital consequences, with rising sea levels as an obvious example. We all live on one planet. Thus, logic demands we find global solutions to the challenges confronting us. To identify and implement those solutions, we must talk with each other, share our resources, our knowledge, and our best ideas. And it is in multilateral gatherings such as the one you're attending in Indonesia today that the solutions will be aired. Many of us believe the best way forward will lie in meaningful partnerships, implementing innovative actions in support of our agreed global plan. When I say agreed global plan, I refer, of course, to the Paris Climate Agreement and the UN's Sustainable Development Goals, together with the broad mosaic of multilateral agreements and conventions which underlay them. Fidelity to that plan is essential if the well-being of our children and grandchildren is to be prioritized over the many inessential creature comforts the world has become accustomed to. When we talk about partnerships, we must also talk about trusting each other to do the right thing in line with our agreed goals. Now, I know that you will be discussing ecotourism in your meeting, and I'd like to lend my support to your efforts. To get it right, ecotourism means a mix of partnerships between governments and local authorities, indigenous groups, philanthropies, NGOs, and of course, the business sector. Ladies and gentlemen, I've spent the majority of my life in the service of an archipelagic state, my home country of Fiji. I spent most of that time as a rural development officer and then as a Fijian diplomat. But I also had some fulfilling years in the private sector, including the development of the tourism industry in the Pacific. Over the last half-century, I've witnessed tourism grow from relatively small numbers of adventurous travelers to the mass tourism we see around the world today. Had I the ability to track back in time, I would do all I could back then to press the nascent tourism industry along the ecotourism route, harnessing it to local agriculture and local products, encouraging local ownership, and using it as a positive force in the protection of precious nature. We can still turn the corner in this direction, and I encourage you all to find ways of doing so at the AIS Business Summit. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the link between climate change and ocean change is inextricable. The three major trends of ocean acidification, deoxygenation, and warming have one common enemy: our greenhouse gas emissions. And by now, surely, we should all know where those gases are coming from. It is thus in the common interest of all life on planet Earth that we get those GHG emissions under control by making the move to renewable energy without further delay, in order to achieve net zero carbon emissions globally by 2050. Thank you for the privilege of addressing your gathering. I wish you a productive meeting. Terima kasih.